Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install Fishbone Offroad inner fenders and paint the little inserts that come with it. Okay, so once you remove all the bolts, you can put the inner fender to the side somewhere safe. Then you're going to take all your washers and nuts and you're going to put them all in a plastic baggie so that you don't lose them. Then I'm going to be painting the bolts the same color as the inner fender inserts. So I just made a whole bunch of holes with a screwdriver and we're going to stick them all in there so that we can paint them. My Fishbone Offroad Mako front bumper skid plates. I really wanted to put something behind the Fishbone logo so that it kind of pops. I was thinking the same color as the Fishbone inner fender inserts. So I found this piece of metal at Home Depot. It was only like $5 or $6. We cut the end off to fit behind here, just like that. And we're gonna paint it so that it matches everything else. Alright, so this is my little painting workstation. Here are all the products we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using this eraser, which is basically just alcohol. We're gonna rub down every piece of metal and get off all the greasy handprints and anything like that before we start painting. Then we're gonna prime everything with this primer. And then this is the paint that we're going to be using. And then we also bought some JB Weld. This is going to be holding that piece on that's going to go behind the Mako front bumper skid plate. Alright, so we have our eraser and a nice clean microfiber towel. We're just going to pour some on there. We're just going to use this to clean off all the dirty fingerprints all over all the pieces of metal. Alright, so next thing we want to do is use our primer and give everything a nice even coat. And don't forget to shake the bottle. Alright, so next we're going to be using the Dupli color metal specs. It's basically like a glittery red color. You can find this at AutoZone. It is a automotive paint. I don't really recommend doing this with just like basic spray paint. I mean, you can, but I think this will last a little bit longer. We're gonna let these sit and dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll put them back together and install them. Alright you guys, so here is our finished product. I did a clear coat on all the inserts and then I reinstalled them. Now I'm going to show you guys how to install them. Alright, so here are all the tools you're going to need to remove your other inner fender and replace it with the new one. You need the bag of hardware that comes with them. I'm going to be using an electric ratchet with a 10mm socket. We also have a handheld ratchet and we have a 3-inch Allen key. We also have a plastic little remover. We have a drill, pliers, a mallet, and a hammer. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is take our ratchet with a 10mm socket on the end and we're gonna remove the 3 inner bolts that are inside of the fender. You want to save these and put them in a safe place because you're going to reuse them. Alright, so next you're going to take your little plastic clip remover and start removing all the clips. Okay, so after you remove all the little black plastic clips, you're gonna be able to pull back a little bit of the plastic inner fender, and there's gonna be 2 more bolts that you need to remove. So I'm gonna show you those right now. So you're gonna pull it back. There's gonna be that bolt right there, and this bolt right here. You need to take your electric ratchet and undo them. That way you can remove the entire fender. Alright, so next thing you're going to do is just gently pull on your fender and the whole thing should just pop right off. Alright, so after you remove the fender, the next thing you're going to do is come over to the blinker switch connection. Undo that, and then just pull it apart. Alright, the next thing you want to do is take your plastic clip remover, and you're going to be removing this little plastic piece here. It's useless, you don't need it anymore. Okay, so the next step is probably the hardest step in my opinion. You have to get this little nutsert to fit in this hole right here, this hole. Now there are a few different ways to do this. The way I'm going to show you may not be the most proper way, but this is how we're going to do it, and this is how it worked on the other side. So we're going to take our nutsert and we're going to put it into a pair of pliers. We're going to take a hammer. Switch back from a hammer and a mallet just so you don't like destroy the nutsert. Okay, so like 15 minutes later and a bunch of pounding with the hammer and a mallet, it's in there. I just want to say that I'm super proud of myself because yesterday when we practiced installing the other inner fender, I could not do that part and my boyfriend had to help me, and he is not here right now and I did that all by myself. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is install the inner fender. We're going to take one of the bolts and washers that they provide for you with the hardware. We're going to secure the very top one first, and then we'll secure the rest once that one's holding it up. You can get your socket with your 3mm Allen key and just tighten it up. Not all the way, just in case you need to do some adjustments. We'll tighten everything at the end. Okay, so now that we have that secured in place, sort of, we're gonna make sure that this cord that plugs back into the fender is out. We're gonna put it there. We're gonna push this part in, and then we're gonna install the 2 bolts right here. Once you have those 2 bolts in place, You're gonna hold it in, you're gonna take your bolts, go on the back, you see it right there, and screw it on. And we're gonna do the top one. The top one is a little bit of a tighter squeeze, but you know, I'm a girl and I have small hands, so it's actually super easy for me to do. The next step is gonna be to insert this bolt, and then we're gonna tighten everything up, and then we'll put the fender back on. Lay the fender on your tire and reconnect the blinker. Alright, and don't forget to press the little red button back. Alright, so now we're ready to reinstall the fender, and it just clips back on, and then you screw in all the bolts again. It's literally that easy. Next, you're going to take all the bolts that I said to save, and you're going to use them to secure the fender. So you're going to put one here, 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 and right here. First, we're going to hand screw each screw back in. Next, we're going to grab our ratchet and our 10mm socket. And we're going to screw them all back in. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to the rear inner fenders. You're just gonna need the plastic clip remover and insert all of the plastic clips holding on the plastic inner fender in. All right, so after you remove all the plastic clips and the bottom part is free, you have to undo all of these little plastic clips, but I wanna keep them on there so that the fender still looks nice. So you're kind of just gonna pop them out a little bit, like halfway, pull the plastic inner fender out, and then that'll just kind of pop back in place. So you start pulling it out over here, get that in there. Pulled it out of this hole, and then it went right back in place. So we're going to do the next one. All right, next all you have to do is insert your new inner fender and line it up with the pre-existing holes. Okay, so once you get the inner fender inside of the wheel well, you're kind of gonna have to fight it a little bit, but you're gonna put 3 bolts, 1 bolt here, 1 bolt here, and 1 bolt here. You're gonna have to remove a little plastic clip here and then insert the bolt. Then you're gonna take your ratchet with the 3mm Allen wrench